So we have this universe inside of us. So how do we get down to the matrix level to heal? That's the real question. And that's what I've been sort of delving into with my own healing meditations lately, where we're going to, and the way healers access this level is through sound, through light, through vibration, through love, the love that radiates from your heart. Those are the languages of the quantum field, like Reiki energy, energies that surpass time and space. Because if you imagine that this is the quantum field that we're looking at right here, what's so interesting about quantum particles is they don't follow physical science. So they don't have to travel from point A to point B by walking across the ground. They actually will disappear here and they'll pop up somewhere else instantaneously. So on the quantum level, these packets of light are not limited by the physical dimension. They're not limited by, oh, but Tuesday has to follow Monday. It's not limited by that. That's why you can do Reiki distance healing and it works across time because you're putting it into the quantum realm that's like the fabric underneath all the things, and it ripples and vibrates out through the quantum realm without you having to touch the physical realm. So I will pause there because I see some percolating ideas in your mind.
That idea of curiosities right in this moment. Because I'm thinking back to the beginning of our conversation and the example that you gave. And I want to put forward that this is just fascinating and so much fun to dig into and to like, oh, what's going to come next? It's like the unfolding of thoughts and contemplations. But I want to move back just for a moment and get your take on this aspect or on this, I guess, question that's starting to percolate for myself. Um, at the beginning, you gave the example of, say, a person who might have spina bifida or a physical disability of some sort, right? And of
Right.
course, there's a lot of things that we can do on a physical level to help people address physical needs and make a change. But there's also, in this physical world, there's just limitations.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
so the question that I have is like coming back to, or not even the question, it's whatever it is. We're not saying that on a quantum level we might heal somebody to be able to overcome a genetic disorder that they were born with on that physical level on a quantum basis here in the physical world. And I guess I'm speaking
I'm
to like
saying that, no, I am actually saying that's possible. I'm actually saying that's
saying that's
possible.
possible. Okay.
I'm saying on the physical level, I can't heal the spina bifida other than the supportive technologies that we have in the physical mechanical world. But
Okay.
there are stories of people in over time that spontaneously heal from a disease, or they spontaneously heal from a spinal cord injury, or they happen across time. I don't think that you can access that type of healing from our brain or our physical mechanical model. They're called miracle healings for a reason. But if you listen to Deepak Chopra, who is a scientist, he's a medical doctor who has studied the quantum field for many, many years. What he's saying is there is a level at which you could tinker and instantaneously change something that perhaps, I'm not spinning the false hope that I could do that for somebody, that I even know how to do that. But what I'm saying
I
is it's
think that
possible.
Yeah, I
It's
think that's where I'm playing around with just thinking of my work with people with disabilities
right,
and in those aspects, because I think everybody's a very perfect being in their own way. And
right.
this is the Siddhi, the Siddhi of what we keep talking about with the gene keys of like there are those moments where cosmically everything works together on the quantum field to say, yep, this has now been repaired, and then it influences your physical
Yep.
ailments, your physical aspects of how you show up.
Yep.
But also, if those things don't come together on the quantum field or in the Siddhi
Right.
aspect of life,
Yep.
it's to remember because we are human beings
Right.
in a human body here on a physical
Right.
planet experiencing the physicality of what we're doing right now.
Exactly.
So I guess that's like where I wanted to bring in on both sides because I'm loving what I'm hearing, but I also
Yeah.
we always have to be wary of like
Right.
the miracle cure.
Right. Well, and I'm very sensitive to that because I work in the oncology world, and I always found it a little bit offensive that when a person would say, "My prayer healed my kid," but the what does that mean for the person whose kid passed away? I don't know. That whole thing of like pray, I do believe that prayer and intention have like energy to it, but I also think that almost accusatory if I say, well, I prayed hard enough, and so my kid was saved.
Yeah.
But then those other parents, what does that say for them? Does that say they didn't pray hard enough, or they didn't have enough faith or whatever? That was where I really had a hard time with like the healing power of prayer and where spiritual bypassing actually takes the part of true healing. Because if we're doing that, I'm just gonna pray, and you're like la 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 la, and you're just like kind of really repressing all of the actual things that are happening. I don't find that that is an effective, like you're not activating the quantum field. You're really just living in a fear state where you're trying to control circumstances that are out of your control.
Yep.
And I understand all of that. We're in this like human realm, that 3D realm. But I guess where what I'm so as a person who was born with a spinal deformity, I have scoliosis,
Mhm.
on a medical, Western medical model, yes, I know I can't mechanically, three-dimensionally heal it because I was born that way. But I've been playing with
Yeah.
the idea that, yes, I agree to an extent, but there's a fabric that underlies, which let's get into our next screen, maybe. Hold on.
And thank you for letting me to bring that up because I
No,
think it's
I
important
no,
on
that was
both
perfect
levels.
because I really want to. I know that these topics to people who are not familiar with them will sound woo, but they're not. They're actual freaking science. The quantum realm is real. Scientists are still unraveling their discoveries around it. In fact, an article I read in the process of doing this is that currently scientists are using the quantum field particles to predict earthquakes. So, what does that tell you? That the earthquake is already existing in the realm of the quantum field before it happens.
Hmm.
So that's where we have the potential to heal. So, like, if you can imagine the quantum field is almost like this energetic shadow of your life, that's a matrix. It's forming you, and you're interacting with it.
To this for just
Okay,
a moment because my mind's going into it, especially when we're talking about the 3D versus the 5D. And
right.
again, all possibilities are there. So if we're looking at the quantum field, we might be living in this physical moment with this reality of what we see in this moment. But the other alternative option is probably there within the quantum field. So how do we access that?
Yes,
What I'm
that's
hearing.
it. And that is what leads us into our contemplation. That was a perfect way to summarize that. Thank you so much. I've got just a couple more slides, and this first one is just kind of going into like this is the potential field, the field of potential. So just like that tree existed in the potential of the seed, our hopes, our dreams, honest, like believing that there's a field of potential where governments are honest, or a field of potential where equity and fairness is the top priority, or, envisioning those are fields of potential. Those exist in the quantum realm, or the field of me being paid to teach around the country. That exists in the quantum realm, right? So we can imagine whatever, we can imprint the quantum realm with whatever seeds we want to plant. And so as we're kind of like contemplating this, we're going to say that then the physical manifestation will start to grow. We can grow what's in that field of potential. So we want to put things in that field of potential. We want to imagine things and believe in things and love. And love is what fuels the energy of that field, I believe. I mean, I'm really supposing a lot of things, and I just got all these like downloads in these last few days. So I'm just throwing them out there. Take it with a grain of salt. compare it with what you already know or what you feel to be true. And
Because your truth might be different than our truth or
for
our
sure,
exploration, and it's probably right
yeah,
within somebody else's
right.
realm.
Exactly. And so, as you have, planted those seeds of intention into the quantum realm, whether that's for healing yourself or whether that's for manifesting something in your life or whether it's something more broad, like believing that governments should be benevolent and love their people, you know, let's
I
put
do
that.
believe that.
I believe that. I believe that at the heart of that's what we want. We want our governments to care for us and us to care for it, and that it's a reciprocal relationship and that holds all the fabric together. And just a quick last note on the 5D realm. The simple way that I heard lately that made me understand it better is it's just where we realize we're flipping back and forth between the 3D where I'm separate from you and there's competition and there's, struggle and there's black and white and day and night and the contrast of the physical world. And the 5D is just kind of a 0 point where we're like, we know that all things are connected. It's a 0 point where we know that I affect you and you affect me, and I'm another you and you're another me, and that I'm connected to the ground and the trees and the earth and the plants, and we're all connected in this fabric. That's all the 5D is. So there's moments where you may already be in the 5D where you're like, ooh, maybe you've taken a walk in the woods and you're by the river and you go, oh my gosh, you feel like you're part of all of the matrix. You feel like you are the tree and the tree is you. Those moments are moments of being in the 5D or being in that quantum realm, or at least in touching into it. And so I think we've all had experiences like that at some time. Very important. And so is that spiritual realm. They're both important. And I think that this is just how I think I'm going to end it is that I believe that the DNA that we pass down from generation to generation connects us to our ancestors, connects us to the future generations. The DNA is the interface between the physical and non-physical realms. That's what I want to say. The DNA, energy packets of information that tell us how this body is going to create, is the interface between the physical realm, so creating bones and teeth and hair, in the non-physical realm where those photons of light are the fabric that underlies all of reality.